Okay, so today we're going to learn about World War II and the military leaders and world leaders that were involved in the war. World War II was a global war from September of 1939 to September of 1945. It began with the invasion of Poland by the German military on September 1st, 1939. This created the Allies and Axis powers. The Allied powers consisted of the United States, Great Britain, and eventually the Soviet Union, and the Axis power consisted of Germany, Italy, and Japan. So after the invasion of Poland, France and Great Britain declared war on Germany. The Soviet Union and Germany signed a non-aggression pact in August of 1939, which was 2 months before the invasion of Poland, which basically meant that they would not fight against each other, they would remain neutral to one another. But in June of 1941, Germany invades the Soviet Union. The first clash between Great Britain and France was in May of 1940 in France. The major obstacle to Germany was Great Britain and the Commonwealths it owns, such as Canada and Australia, that were involved in the fighting in northern and eastern Africa. In 1942, Japan declared defeat. In 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, and that was the start of the American involvement in the war. In 1942, that's when the war began to turn in the favor of the Allies. Japan was defeated by the United States at Midway Island. Also, Great Britain and Italy, also Germany and Italy were defeated in northern Africa, and Soviet Union defeated Germany at Stalingrad. In 1943, the Allies invaded Italy, and Italy surrenders. In 1945, the invasion of Germany happens by the Soviet Union. And on August 6th, the United States drops the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. On August 9th, the atomic bomb is dropped on Nagasaki. And then on the 15th of August of 1945, Japan surrenders. So now I'll be going over each of the world and military leaders. Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of Great Britain. He became Prime Minister of May of 1940, and he warned about Hitler and his army. No one seemed to listen to him in Parliament, but he continued to warn people until it was too late. He led Britain throughout the entire war. Dwight Eisenhower was the Supreme Allied Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces in Europe. He supervised invasions in North Africa, France, and Germany. Emperor Hirohito was the Emperor of Japan during World War II. Adolf Hitler was a German dictator from 1933 to 1945. He invaded Czechoslovakia to no avail, and then invaded Poland, which started the war. He used Jews, gays, the mentally handicapped, and other people as scapegoats for Germany's economic problems. He imprisoned and killed many innocent civilians. General Douglas MacArthur was Supreme Allied Commander in the Pacific region of the war. He was defeated in the Philippines in 1941 and vowed to come back. And he eventually came back in 1944 to reclaim the Philippines and have them be free from Japanese rule. General Bernard Montgomery was the Field Marshal for the British Army. He commanded the British 8th Army and claimed a victory in Tunisia in May of 1943. He also led invasions of Italy and the British invasion of Normandy. Benito Mussolini was the Prime Minister of Italy from 1922 to 1943. He was basically a dictator, not really a Prime Minister. They called him Il Duce, the leader. Italy entered the war on June 10, 1940, after the fall of France. Did not have a military strength to defeat Britain, as Germany possibly did, but they concentrated their military resources in northern Africa. In some time, the King of Italy dismissed Benito Mussolini and placed him into custody on September 12, 1943. He was eventually rescued by German paratroopers and SS commandos in 1943. He was eventually recaptured by Allied forces in April 1945, where he was executed by the Italian government. General Patton was general of the U.S. Army. He led the invasion of Casablanca in Morocco. He commanded troops during the invasion of Italy, but however he did not participate in the invasion of Normandy. He was reprimanded for apparently slapping two shell-shocked soldiers, but following Normandy, he was given his command back and led troops into the Battle of the Bulge in Belgium. General Erwin Rommel was a German commander. His rank was the equivalent to a 5-star general. He led the German invasion of France, and he led forces in North Africa. He was considered the most able tank commander of the war. He led German forces at the invasion of Normandy. However, he was implicated in the July 20th, 1944 plot to assassinate Hitler. Due to his national hero status, Hitler had him commit suicide rather than have him publicly executed. FDR was the U.S. president from 1933 to 1945. He actually was president for 4 terms, which was highly unusual for that time because it's tradition that presidents serve 2 terms maximum and then they would stop running for office. He tried to stay out of the war until Pearl Harbor occurred. He died in office and was succeeded by Harry S. Truman. Joseph Stalin was the leader of the Soviet Union. He signed a non-aggression pact with Germany, but was invaded by Germany in 1941. He also killed many civilians in Russia, far greater than Adolf Hitler did in Germany. The Soviet Union eventually captured Berlin. After Stalin's death, his successor, Khrushchev, removed all Stalin-related monuments and names of places. He removed all these monuments because of Stalin's history of violence and his claim to power and all that. Hideki Tojo was the first major general, then prime minister from October 41 to July of 1944. He ordered the attack on Pearl Harbor and was executed for war crimes on December 23, 1941. Harry S. Truman became president after FDR's death. He did not know of the atomic bomb until after FDR died. He declared victory in Europe on May 8th, which is the same day as his birthday. During the Potsdam Conference, which was the post-war conference to decide what to do with Europe after the war, he told Stalin that he had a new weapon that could change the tide of the war. However, Stalin already knew of the atomic bomb through spies. He eventually ordered the atomic attack on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So now we're going to receive a picture, and then you're going to glue the picture to an index card, and it writes a small, short summary of each of the world leaders or military leaders. So here's you can have Truman. So here, just write the summary and then glue the picture to the postcard. And once you finish writing your summary, we'll take the postcards and we're going to tape them to the map to where they are located, to how they correspond to where they are on the map. So, for example, Winston Churchill would be in Great Britain. Okay, so you have your postcard ready, and you want me? I'll place it on the map in the United States because it's Truman. Okay, so I'm going to take the postcard. I'm going to tape it to the United States. And that's it. And that's very good. So you put the postcard in the correct place, and you put became president after Franklin Roosevelt, or nuclear attack on Japan, and told Stalin about the bomb at the Potsdam Conference.